If you haven't already, join the Discord. Good times. I've just revamped it recently. I've still got some work to be done. When you join now, you'll get a couple of questions. You should get assigned to roll from the questions. Then you can jump in, hang out. We've got a bunch of people in here who are chilling daily, chatting about games, Limbus, Arc Knights, whatever it might be. They're chatting about it. We've got a new React Smash spot now as well, where you guys can share the stuff you want me to check out. We've got a bit of backlog as well of the music as well. We've got loads of stuff to get through, actually. So, yeah, man, join the Discord as well, guys. There's a link down below. Check it out. Speaking of React Smash, this comes from React Smash as well. So prior, we watched the city, you know, the lore of the city of Limbus Company, and we watched part 1 and part 2. We've got part 3 and part 4 to watch, but I've been told to maybe watch this before we go into part 3 and 4. And this is the entire story of Lobotomy Corporation from 8-Bit Hypocrite. And this video went off, bro. Nearly 1 million views, which is insane. So let's give it a preemptive like. I'm definitely interested because Limbus seems to have really, really cool world building, right? Really cool lore, and I'm here for it. So let's learn a little bit more about Lobotomy Corporation then, shall we, guys? Let's get into it, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, looks like everyone is finally here. Welcome to the first
we in
day
class?
of class,
Okay.
everyone. I'll be your teacher for this semester. You can call me Professor Hypocrite. Now, I know everyone is eager to get started, but I wanted to get some things out of the way before we...
Is that teacher a femboy? I'm just, you know, just curious. Just curious.
begin. First of all, I assume that everyone here is attending for one of 4 reasons. 1, you just need more credit hours and
Okay.
the class would be easy. That's fine. Welcome. 2, you're a huge Project Moon fan who only consumes Project Moon.
We have a lot of those in our community as well. Some huge Project Moon fangirls.
Content, and
Good
you're
question.
going to correct me in the comments about every little thing. That's also fine. Glad to have you. 3, you didn't understand the ending or you didn't have it in you to complete Lobotomy Corporation because the game is full of what we in the business call bullshit difficulty. And
Okay,
you
I've
want to
heard
know
that.
what the hell is going on so you can continue to the next game. I totally understand.
Is it bullshit difficulty, or is it a skill issue for most, chat? What's the answer?
This game is pretty unfair, I won't lie.
Okay.
But I'm glad you gave it a shot, and Project Moon really hit their stride with the next games, so I hope this helps you
So,
out. And
was it Lobotomy Corp first, was he? And then Ruiner, and then obviously I know Limbus is last, so it was Corp first, yeah? Bullshit. It's hell on earth. Okay, so he's talking facts then. Okay.
finally number 4. This class randomly popped into your recommended, or a friend sent it to you because they want you to get into the series. If that's the case, run far away, cut all ties with this person. They are lost. They
So we have to ban Ken now then, chat. We got to ban him.
cannot be saved.
It's been a good run, Bucko. It's over though now.
You'll get sucked into if you continue. We all do. But if you choose to ignore that warning and watch anyway because you're interested, then welcome. May God have mercy on your soul.
Okay.
Whatever your reasons for being here, I'm glad that you're attending this semester, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy. And of course, you all should have realized this when you signed up for the class, but it will spoil the entire story of Lobotomy Corporation.
That's fine.
So
That's fine.
if at any point you
I've said this before. Like, I might get round to playing it, but I'm going to be honest. I've got such a backlog at the moment, and we're going to be getting into Limbus heavily, right? We've got so many other games. It's going to be a long time before we get to it, if I'm honest. Unless, I don't know, maybe I fall in love with so much with Limbus, maybe that changes, but probably not. So this is okay.
interested in playing for yourself, please step out of class and give it a try, and come back when you have to fight the Arbiter, because oh god. With that
Time
in
to wag
mind,
class.
welcome everyone to our first lesson. The History of the City, Part 1. Lobotomy
Okay.
Corporation, and the coolest setting in fiction.
Ooh, it is pretty cool, though. I must admit, what I've learned so far, the city's fucking dope, man.
Welcome to the city. The setting for Project Moon's universe is a massive dystopian hellhole where the entire thing is ruled over by mega corporations. Wow, it's just like real life. Let me be clear, this place is awesome. for us. Not for the people that live
Is
in
that
it.
people on
It's one of the
spikes?
most creative settings I've ever seen in any piece of fiction, and it completely enraptured me the first time I learned about it.
That's people on gigantic pikes, yeah. Damn.
The city is divided into 26 sections, called wings, each labeled with a letter of the alphabet.
We know about this.
Oh, yes? I didn't expect questions so soon. You there, in the back of the class.
Amia's in the audience.
Yeah,
Let's
I
go.
only see 25 districts. Where's Z?
That is a
You know Amia would be in class, and she'd be at the front as well. You know, trying to be teacher's pet. You know, she'd be there.
fantastic question. Don't worry about it. Each of these wings is controlled by a powerful corporation with a corresponding letter, and each of them possess an incredibly powerful, borderline magical technology known as a singularity.
Okay, yeah, we know about
In the
this.
city, singularities are what make the world go round, and they're what allow the corporations to maintain their power. They can do anything from teleporting you to stopping time and everything in between. But of course, that technology isn't for everyone. Only the most powerful or the most wealthy.
Makes sense.
These districts and their corporations are held in check by the head, the governing force of the city that's composed of A, B, and C Corp. No one knows who's in charge or even what goes on in District A, but if anyone starts looking a bit
So people. Oh, see, I didn't get that from that other video. That we don't know who's running the show. Okay.
too deep into it, they're sent a strongly
love
worded
heads.
letter and asked
Don't
to
we all?
stop. Nah, just kidding. They disappear, presumably murdered. In each district, there are also massive living areas, known as the nests. Nests are the nice place to live in the city because you're under direct protection by your corporation.
Okay.
So you're mostly safe from the horrors that roam the street. However, that's no reason to relax. Even in the nests, you can become the target of extortion, be murdered by your neighbor, or more likely, be kidnapped by your corporation to be used in experimentation. Now, that doesn't sound great, but it's far better than the alternative. If you don't live in the nest, then you're living in the back streets.
I love how he's like, you know what? This is the really nice part of town. This is, experimentation, freaking kidnapping, murder. But hey, it's a damn sight better than the other part of town.
Back streets are a massive series of sprawling alleys and slums connecting each district in the city where no one really cares what's going on.
Okay.
It's full of drugs,
A little bit lawless,
crime,
yeah?
cannibals, and gut harvesters, which do exactly what you think they do. Not only that, the streets are routinely stalked by horrific monsters known as abnormalities, which come from either outside the city or somewhere else. The people here can't enter the nests without an absurd amount of screening and cash, so most are stuck here for life, which is naturally pretty short under these conditions. The only reason the back streets isn't in constant war with itself is due to the presence of the Fingers, 5 massive syndicates that keep relative order. We'll talk more about them in the future, but even they can't fix the back streets completely. One of the only ways to remain relatively safe in most areas is to hire a fixer. Fixers are essentially mercenaries that...
But the city as well, in a sense, kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of like Coruscant, and Warhammer Hive cities, you know what I mean? Where like kind of every level's not exactly spectacular in terms of what we see as pleasant, but there's places where comparatively are much better, right? Like if you live at the very top, then you're doing okay. But obviously in the Warhammer universe, nobody's really doing okay, right? But like the Underhive and the lower levels, like it definitely, like you get that sort of vibe where it's like, you know, very lawless, if you will. Yeah, the lower levels, right, of Coruscant, yeah.
Anyone can employ
Hive
to
cities
do
are a good
odd
call.
jobs, like police work, protection, or killing your neighbor who keeps playing loud music at night. They're graded from 1 to 9, with 1 being the most powerful and 9 being the least. If you do something crazy impressive,
What did that say?
your
Is it
neighbor who
borderline,
keeps playing loud music at night. They're graded from 1 to 9, with 1 being the
Borderline
most
God of
powerful
Fire.
and 9 being
Submissive femboy, not even as cute as me.
the least. If you do something crazy impressive, like take a dangerous monster down on your own or put a stop to a massive plot, you may even be promoted to the rank of a color. Color fixers are legendary in the city, and are the most powerful and well-known figures outside of the corporations. Most of the time,
Where did these guys live? Do these guys get to live in the nice parts of town for doing this sort of work then? And is it like, is it something that's well paid?
fixers
What do they do for the
either
love of the
work
game?
for an office or an association. Offices are small private establishments run by individuals, who mostly take the odd jobs and requests of clients that contact them. Associations, on the other hand, are far larger and more professional. There are 12 associations, each covering a massive area of the city, and each specializes in a certain department. For example, the She Association specializes in assassinations and covert operations, while the Spy Association specializes in police activities like bodyguard work and maintaining general peace. We'll talk more on associations when they pop up in the story, but just
It's like we learned before, right? Pretty much, there's no socialist apparatus in the city in terms of like, you know, a publicly funded police force or stuff like that. It's all by to order, pretty much, yeah? You need protection, you pay for protection. You need investigation, you pay for investigation, right? It's pretty much the deal. You got cash, you can get stuff sorted. Otherwise, pretty much like go fuck yourself, yeah?
Oh, another question already. Yes, you there, with the bad microphone.
Oh yeah, Teach? If the city's so bad, why don't people just leave? It's just a real big city, right?
Ooh,
Well, yes and no. It is a really big city, but there's barely anything outside of it as far as we know. This area is called the Outskirts, and it's a
This is what I'm really interested in. I'm always interested in this sort of stuff in like fantasy sci-fi worlds, you know, where you get a bit of a POV kind of world building, and it's like you get this built-up world, but then there's the other, the outer, the outskirts, the badlands, you know what I mean? The outside of the space that's safe, if you will. I always am fascinated about, I want to learn more, but I suppose at the same time, that lack of knowledge makes it more interesting at the same time.
completely barren wasteland full of monsters and dangerous forgotten technology. Some people do live here, but the establishments are small and in constant danger. Every once in a while, expedition teams will be sent to recover some of the forgotten relics that lie in the ruins, but for the most part, the only interaction the city has with it is sending private military forces to drive back any monsters that come too close. It's
You get there
also
soon on
home
Limbus,
to
really?
non-humans, mysterious beings who inhabited the city before the head arrived. There was apparently a huge war between the two, but most of that information has been scrubbed from the history books. All we know is that once the non-humans were driven out, the head implemented the AI ethics amendment, which forbade
Okay, again, takes me back to like Warhammer stuff. I swear, recently when we talk about like a lot of gacha stuff, man, like, there's always that thing of like, I think, oh, it comes back to Warhammer. You know, the war against the Iron Men and stuff, and that's one of the reasons why technology after you know, the age of darkness, or was it the age of technology and the age of well, I forgot which the specific age now, but after that anyway, basically, and the rise of the Imperium is like, obviously they're a very anti-AI, right? Very anti-AI. So it kind of reminds me of that kind of thing again, man. Okay, so there was some sort of a war with another. Makes me think it's got to have been like human created, right? Surely.
the creation of AI,
The dark age of technology,
well as
that's
any
it, yeah.
machines that were designed to look human. So, they were probably robots. For now, that's all that you need to know about the power structure of the city. We'll talk more on it later, but for Lobotomy Corporation, that's more than enough info. So let's get into the events leading up to the game.
All right, let's go.
As you might imagine, people in the city are not very happy. One might even go as far as to say that they are really unhappy, actually. But everyone just kind of accepts it. This
Being
is
put on a spike, you know, definitely tends to ruin one's day. Definitely tends to ruin one's day.
referred to as the disease
Yeah, the
of
golden
mind.
age, yeah.
And while it's not a literal disease, some people decide that it needs to be cured. These people are Carmen, a young woman who dreams of a
Praise the
world where
Omnissiah.
people can live their lives without horrible oppression, achieving the dreams they didn't know they had, and Ian, a man obsessed with results who will sacrifice anything for his goal. Carmen is kind, thoughtful, and would never become the main antagonist of the series. And Ian is here because he bottoms. The two of them begin recruiting
Submissive and breedable, you know. Okay.
researchers for the Seed of Light project, a massive undertaking to return the light to the souls of people and eventually turn the city into a paradise. They recruited their team from all walks of life, with the primary researchers composed of Benjamin, Ian's student, Elijah, a very passionate though scatterbrained girl, Gabriel, an obsessive embodiment of OCD, and Michelle, who always puts others before herself. She's just so cute and sweet, she is my favorite. They're also joined by Daniel, an elite who abandoned his life of luxury after hearing Carmen's passion, Giovanni, who's shockingly lazy for a researcher, Kali, a legendary color fixer known as the Red Mist, and two children that the team rescued from the backstreets, Lisa and Enoch. With the team assembled, they set up a laboratory in the outskirts, just barely out of sight from the all-knowing head.
Oh, shit. So, okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Eventually, they were able to discover Cogito, a substance extracted from the human psyche, and it was able to manifest a person's mental state in a physical form. Well, discover is a strong word. Technically, it's always been there, they just found a way to harness it. It's never fully explained what exactly Cogito is, and honestly—
Well, that's kind of how discoveries work, right? You know, you have inventions and you have discoveries, right? You discover something that was always there, we just didn't have the ability to see it, right, or to manipulate it. Yeah, anyway, I'm nitpicking.
It's
Sorry.
confusing, but that's not really important. All that we know is that there isn't a ton of it, and because it taps into the human psyche, they might be able to use it.
Okay.
They did a lot of experimenting, but when they hadn't made much
Brain
progress
juice.
creating the Seed of Light in a while, they decided it was time to step it up a notch. It was time to do some human testing. They needed to push the limits on what Cogito—
Of course, you've always got to go to the level of human experimentation, right, for any sort of real progress.
could do, so Carmen would try injecting it herself. But before she could do so, Enoch volunteered himself. After all, the team had rescued him and his sister, and he had always wondered what the meaning of life was. So, the experiment began. Enoch strapped in, readied his mind, and gave a reassuring
Just editing, bro. Just editing, dude.
thumbs up to his sister. And then immediately died.
Oh.
Yet
Didn't even mutate. Just straight death. Okay.
turns out Cogito is extremely deadly when injected. After the experiment failed,
Is it like maybe if you think about Limbus Company? Well, I'm assuming it's the bow, right? The golden bows.
Ian was like, oopsie daisy, looks like we killed a 12-year-old. Oh well, better luck next time. Come on guys, what do you say? On to the next experiment? Needless to say, the rest of the team didn't take it so well. Carmen by far felt the worst about what they had done, but she truly broke when Lisa heard the news her brother had died, only to point out that it should have been Carmen, as she was the one originally planned for injection. Realizing what she had sacrificed, Carmen's mind shattered, and she decided the only course of action was to play with a cool knife in her bathtub. Unfortunately,
Oh, okay. Damn.
even this wasn't an escape. The city is incredibly technologically advanced, and even their medical treatment is at an almost magical level. Healing
This just went from 0 to 100 just like that, right?
ampules developed by K-Corp are capable of healing nearly any wound as long as the brain is intact, and they do it almost instantly. So naturally, when Ian found Carmen bleeding out in the tub on the verge of death, he didn't use any of that shit and instead ripped out her nervous system, shoved it in a big tank, and used it as the new source of Cogito. Yay! Now they
Damn. Bro was like fucking Dear Diary jackpot. Right. Most people have walked in there and thought, fuck shit, we got to help. He was just like, sweet, fucking perfect. You can't even argue now, right? He's served upon a platter. Holy shit, dude.
had as
Bro's
much
got problems.
as they wanted. this kind of sucked for everyone, losing not just a member of the team that everyone cared for, but also driving Lisa practically insane and turning their primary research into a living vending machine was not great for team morale. But Ian still pressed forward, and while Carmen wouldn't hurt a fly, he needed to see results after losing his waifu like this. And so, the true human trials began. Ian was experimenting on everyone he could find, and made some incredible breakthroughs in the process. Kagado essentially works like a bucket, drawing out a person's desires, dreams, and fears from the well that is their being.
Okay.
Rarely injecting a
And one that can physically manifest, yeah?
human resulted in the creation of ego, an incredibly powerful extension of a person, manifesting in the form of gear or weapons with supernatural effects.
Oh, so that's where it comes from then. Okay.
But that required an incredibly strong will, and for most people in the city, their desires would simply overwhelm them, instead resulting in the creation of an abnormality. These are basically SCPs, beings or objects with strange properties, with those around them needing to obey their rules or risk immediate death. They are confusing, difficult to manage, and incredibly dangerous. While this is unfortunate for the subject of experimentation, it actually worked out great for Ian, who discovered that abnormalities could be harnessed to produce enkephalin, a hyper-potent energy source. So if they had enough, they might be able to create their seed of light. But just when he
Okay, alright. I'm connecting the dots now. Well, he's connecting the dots for me, but you know, I'm there. I'm there.
finally made this breakthrough, shit hit the fan. In fact, the fan was covered in shit. The fan was made of shit. The team broke down. Elijah, wanting to make herself useful, took an unauthorized Kagado injection. This is what we in the business refer to as a silly, goofy move. While dying in horrific agony, she crawled her way to Ian and was like,
"Oh God, it hurts so bad. Please kill me. Please put me down. This is the most suffering I've felt in my entire life."
and Ian responded, "Most suffering in your life so far."
Wait, what the fuck does that
Anyway, I'm not
Bro hit her with the Homer Simpson meme. Like, damn. This motherfucker is diabolical. Needs to be stopped. Holy shit.
going to kill you. Your experience is important for our research. Have fun melting from the inside out. Meanwhile, Gabriel saw the effects of Kagado and because of his obsessive nature became completely horrified that it may be affecting him in the lab. He was like,
"Yeah, I really don't like the look of that."
and began to scratch and claw at any exposed skin he had until he eventually found his throat a little too itchy and decided to remove it. Giovanni was barely doing any work at all by this point, so Ian made use of him as well, telling Giovanni that if he took a Kagado injection that it could save Carmen. Ian's pants
Yeah, man. What the fuck? This guy's a menace. Actual menace. Just gets worse and worse. It's like, oh, the kid died. I was like, damn, that got pretty bad. Okay, she decided to attempt to, re-roll. Then Bro's like, actually, I'm not going to let you re-roll. I'm going to harvest your fucking essence, pretty much. And then we go on to where we're at now. Jesus,
then
man.
immediately caught fire because that was a big fat lie. But it was all Giovanni needed to hear. And as he lied dying on the experimentation table, he looked up at Ian.
Ah. So this is it. I'm just glad to help. You know, as lazy as I was, I really cared about her dream. It might cost me my life, but at least it'll save her. Right, Ian?
Lol, said Ian. Lamau. Finally, with all the death and horrific experiments going on, Michelle broke. She contacted the head and revealed everything that Ian was doing. The head took this information very well and was very understanding. Just kidding, they sent the human equivalent of a nuclear blast to massacre everyone in the facility. This is Garion. Garion is a power scaling tool. She is what is known as an arbiter. Singularity and
we learned a little bit about these. We learned a little bit about the arbiters before, didn't we?
Agents sent directly from A Corp. I've made this handy diagram for everyone to properly understand the difference in strength.
Hydrogen bomb versus coffin babies.
Okay, got it? She slaughters most of the employees and forces Daniel to open the abnormality containment. Daniel goes,
Okay, but I'm going to do it really, really slow so that everyone can escape.
Unfortunately for him, this did nothing. The abnormalities and Garion wiped out literally all the employees anyway, Lisa included.
Oh shit.
Daniel was a little upset.
Bro, is that explosion from Command and Conquer? I swear that sounds like Command and Conquer, man. Am I tripping? I feel like I'm tripping.
By that, and after being scolded by Ian for being a fucking coward, decided to commit toaster bath. The only person able to even begin to stand up to Garion was Kali, the strongest fixer in the city. The Red Mist going all out was a near unstoppable force, massacring the other agents of the Head and cutting down any abnormalities in an effort to protect those left alive. She was a force of nature, an unbreakable blade. Nothing stood a chance against her, her true strength unmatched. Finally, the only one left to kill was Garion herself. And Garion fucking bodied her, removing an arm, an eye, and most of Kali's blood from her body.
Oh,
but
shit.
right when she was about to finally give in, we had a dramatic flashback.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, this story and this build-up's fucking awesome, man. It really is.
Are the Arbiters stronger than you, Kyle?
Like, holy shit, man. Like, this is not to, I'm not to like pit games against each other, right? But you know when you constantly hear people with specific gacha games talk about like the world building and the characters and the setting and the premise and the ideas being top tier, best in gacha, man, best story patching gacha, man, and then like, you know, you experience like what I'm starting to experience now, and obviously what I've experienced with Arknights. It's just like there is levels, really, isn't there? And of course, it's all subjective and individual opinions and stuff. But man, this shit is fucking cool, man. I'm here for this.
Good question. If they're protected by some claws, or the Abno's breached, they might give me a little trouble.
But would you lose?
Nah, I'd win.
Mid-diff.
With her dying breath, Kali managed to impale Garion to the wall of the facility, mortally wounding her. Kali fell.
Oh, nice world building. You know what? Hey, you know, each their own. I disagree massively, but each their own.
But she succeeded. The only survivors were Ian and Benjamin. Oh yeah, and Michelle, but once she found out what she caused to happen at the facility, she decided she wanted to roleplay as a tire swing. Ian and Benjamin were able to recover the Arbiter's nearly dead body and extracted all the information they could from her brain, learning how to avoid the watchful eye of the Head. In this case, the biggest problem was that they needed to become a wing, one of the 26 corporations in the city. Now, there can't be 27 wings because they would run out of letters. I don't know what to tell you, that just makes sense. So in order to make room for themselves, the two began formulating a plan to take down one of the wings. But they would need more resources.
Okay, we learned a little bit about this, yeah. They wanted to depose one of the wings, right? One of the corpos. It was a failed Kickstarter, was he? Oh, was he? Okay.
Ian, we need something to promise those that work with us. Without something in return, no one is going to want to take our side. And we barely have any assets at the moment, besides Cogito, and we can't be shelling that out. After all, it's supposed to be our corporation's singularity.
Don't worry, Ben 10.
That's not my name.
I've already got this problem solved. I've opened a Patreon.
A what now?
It's a way for people to support the work I do. This video took a ton of effort after all, and it'll probably get demonetized because YouTube
The lad section.
does not like the themes that Project Moon puts forward.
Ian, it's a taboo.
Really? I don't know if it's maybe a thing that, like, YouTube's quite chill with a lot of stuff on YouTube now in terms of content, unless you're really pushing it. It's just copyright stuff, right?
To
Before you
record
get
in
hit.
District 14.
I only have a single tier set up because I don't have much to offer right now, but
Local
if they
internet
decide to join,
fangirl.
they'll at least get their name in the credits of every video.
You're going to get us killed.
Any extra support goes to getting better equipment and more resources to create even better videos. So if they're willing to help out, they can find a link in the description below.
Okay, if you're going to keep talking, I'm setting...
There you go, guys. If you want to show some love to your boy as well, his Patreon's down here somewhere. Where is he? Has he even got it down below? Yeah, there he is. Not got a direct link, but yeah. It's not a hyperlink, but still.
Down the Arbiter Brain, it's getting kind of mushy.
I really appreciate
Is bro
everyone
still
for
making,
watching, so don't feel like
content
you need
now?
to give anything for the show to go on. I won't suddenly disappear because someone didn't donate. We're not the 8 o'clock circus after all.
Ian, that doesn't happen until the next game.
Yeah.
made a
Anyway,
video
I
8 months
think that
ago.
we should target L-Corp, the energy production corporation. Everyone already hates them because they cause an insane amount of pollution. This was fantastic for them. Since abnormalities generated
Let me go back.
they
I
could
missed that there. My bad.
disappear because someone didn't donate. We're not the 8 o'clock circus after all.
Ian, that doesn't happen until the next game.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that we should target L-Corp, the energy production corporation. Everyone already hates them because they cause an insane amount of pollution. This was fantastic for them. Since abnormalities generated enkephalin, they could be used to generate energy for the whole city, with no disgusting black smoke to speak of. So, Ian and Benjamin hooked up with this super cool gal named Diaz. She runs a group known as the Udjot, and while she's barely mentioned in the whole series, she's kind of a puppet master who works behind the scenes. We basically have no information on her right now, but she's one of the most powerful driving forces in the whole setting, and we'll hear more about her later. All you need to know for now is that she's very influential. The three of them working together are able to spark the Smoke War, one of the only known wing wars in the entire history of the city. L-Corp was defended by quite a few other corporations such as G-Corp, but Ian had already been making deals behind
Is this the bit we see
scenes,
Canto 1 with Gregor and stuff, yeah? Is that like back to the flashbacks of the Smoke War, was it?
profitable contracts with anyone that would help them. This resulted in K, I, and R Corp all providing private military forces to Ion, and since R Corp's main export was troops and weaponry, L Corp eventually fell. Ion finally made his move, setting up the new L Corp, which he named...
Damn, bro, went from being a psycho to a psycho with power, right? Damn.
Lobotomy Corporation. Holy shit, he said the thing! After setting up multiple branch facilities across the city to actually provide power, Ion was once again able to research the Seed of Light. But he had learned a lot from his time in the outskirts. Empathy, compassion, and love for his fellow
I'm sure.
humans. This time, he would do it the right way. Yeah, just kidding. The only thing Ion learned is that humans are weak. If he was going to get this right, he needed someone who wouldn't break like his previous friends. Someone able to operate until the end of time. Able to react to the worst scenarios with cold efficiency, but still able to make changes to the protocol if necessary. So, he went to Benjamin. Hey Ben, I think we need to make an AI.
Ian, listen. I have followed you this
That's a big no-no, right? That's a big no-no.
entire time. And I'll absolutely continue to do so. I basically see you as a god. I agree with all of your methods, but you have to know that this is insane. Do you remember the AI ethics amendment? If you made an AI, you would be directly breaking one of the taboos of the head. I know we're hiding from them using that old arbiter brain, but if they ever found out, you wouldn't be able to escape them again. They would hunt you to the ends of the earth, obliterating everything you have ever worked for. It would be over, not just for us, but for our dream. The world
despise
we
his
seek to
slanderization.
create would never come to fruition. You would doom us all. Do you really think that gamble is worth it?
Bro just wanted to be able to send professional business emails easily, right? I think everybody wants that.
The AI ethics amendment can't stop me because I can't read.
All right, well, I'm convinced. Let's get to work.
And so the two of them would scan Carmen's brain and memories into an android body, hoping to create a perfect copy of their lost friend, but with some significant upgrades. The ability to remember everything
Sounds like a bad idea.
perfectly,
Sounds like a bad idea.
and to perceive the world 100 times slower, allowing for inhuman reaction time. But this new consciousness wasn't quite the same because of those changes. Instead, it was something uncannily close. Ian saw this and was immediately like, ew, what the fuck, ew, no, ew, this sucks, ew, this thing is a complete failure, icky, no, ew.
Father, you programmed me to have emotions so I can better adjust the programs you put me in charge of. Don't forget that I also have perfect recall, so I'll remember your disgust with me forever.
She was giving emotions as well. Okay.
Don't you think it may
Yeah,
be
I feel like dude fucked up big time here.
a bad idea to reject me so aggressively?
Ew, no, I don't care. Take your heavy-handed foreshadowing and shove it up your ass. You'll never be like Carmen. After all, she was perfect and sweet and would never become the main antagonist of the series. Why do I feel like this might come back to haunt me later? This new AI's name was Angela, and as much as Ian despised this thing that looked like his lost body pillow, he knew it could work. He and Benjamin created a script for Angela to follow in order to create the Seed of Light, a perfectly planned series
Yeah,
of
I bet that was the first thing he did right. I bet it was like, yeah, let's sort out a script for it to do that. Definitely wasn't for like other stuff. You know?
That'll lead to the Seed of Light shining over the city for 7 days. But in order for it to work, everything had to go perfectly. If the slightest thing went wrong, it would be ruined. See, this plan had one major component. In order to create the seed in the first place, it would require immense human suffering. And humans really want to avoid that. So in order to get infinite tries at succeeding, Ian decided to cheat. He contracted T-Corp, whose singularity allows for the storage, stopping, and rewinding of time. With it, Ian set up a loop that lasted 50 days, with Angela being in charge of remembering every loop and guiding everyone through it. If
is this like...
went even slightly
obviously, I don't know. Is this like a premise towards the gameplay mechanics from Lobotomy Corporation then? That sounds familiar, that does, when I remember watching something about the actual gameplay of LobCorp. I'm sure, right? I'm not tripping.
Off script, the loop would reset and Ian would have another chance.
It is, okay.
But to make this work, he would need even more help. Specifically, he would need someone to overcome their suffering to create the Seed of Light. And who better to do exactly that than his previous friends, since he already knew their insecurities. Just one problem. They're all dead, remember? Well, actually, it wasn't much of a problem at all. Ian saved all of their brains, like a normal person. So he was able to transfer all of them into robotic bodies and suppressed their memories, forming the managers of this facility known as the Sephirah. Elijah became Malkuth, head of the control team. Gabriel
He's a real nice dude, isn't he, man? Yeah. Definitely worth being friends with, for sure. Yeah. To be fair, probably less toxic friend than somebody like Saint Ontas, but still, you know, yeah, nice guy.
Became Yesid, head of the information team. Giovanni became Netzak, head of the security team. Michelle became Had, head of the training team. Lisa and Enoch became Tiferet A and B, heads of the command team. Kali became Gebra, head of the disciplinary team. Daniel became Chesed, head of the welfare team, and as a funny joke, he also resurrected Garion, turning her into Binna, head of the extraction team. But if all his friends would have their memories suppressed and Angela is in charge of restarting the loop, who would manage the whole facility? Well, the answer was easy. It would be Ian himself. But he couldn't do it with his memories intact, they would sway his decisions. So he decided to wipe his own mind. But the process wasn't perfect, especially once he began to interact with...
I'm starting to think this guy's plan was full of lots and lots of holes. You know? Lots and lots of holes. I think pretty much from the start, really. Definitely can't see how it would continue to go wrong, because... yeah, man. Yeah.
his former friends. He was haunted by his own demons. Abel to represent his regret for past decisions, Abram to represent his obsession over Carmen, and Adam to represent his exposure to abnormalities. It's pretty unclear if these manifestations are physical through mirror technology introduced later in the series or if it's all in Lay Head, but it doesn't actually matter. All that's important is that these alternative versions of Ian exist. Once he was mind-wiped, these reflections would act as the final challenge, so it was basically Ian giving himself therapy in a weird roundabout kind of way. Like, Jesus man, you could've just talked to Benjamin. This new blank Ian would go by X and would act as manager of Lobotomy Corporation and our playable character in the game. With everything in place, Ian hid himself away in the depths of the facility, watching and waiting for the script to complete. He started the 50-day time loop and the events of Lobotomy Corporation began. Oh, you thought
There are no holes, only problems to be resolved with a hammer, a very large hammer.
everything up until now was the game? No. None of this actually happens in the game. It's all shown through flashbacks.
That's cool.
Everything we just discussed happens before we even press the start button. The game itself is what happens in the actual time loop, which is why you can reload saves and shit like that. Hell, even the art style is explained, with Angela saying that if we actually witnessed everything within the facility, we would go insane. So this cartoony filter
cool.
is put over everything. Oh yeah, and
That's actually cool, I like that.
so it makes the Sephirah look hot instead of like a Borderlands reference.
Well, of course you won with those cards. Even Steve could have won with those cards. And all he can
It's a bit like, he's a little claptrap like.
say is hey-o. Shut the f*** up, Steve.
We control X throughout the time loop, endlessly failing, reloading, and retrying to get everything right, with Angela guiding us along the way. At the start, we get some mysterious letters from a person known as B, telling us not to trust Angela. I'm sure that's fine. As we progress through the loop, more and more of the dormant Sephirah begin to awaken, and as they
So, okay, so we're playing as the mind-wiped, kind of like, well, it's not so much to say, he's a bit of a fucker, right? Done some pretty fucked up shit. I like that, though, that we're like, basically we're like we're playing the protagonist and the antagonist, really, in a sense, aren't we? Because we are like the arbiter, the creator of all of this happening. Like we're the one that started everything down this path in regards to this game. I don't like that.
X, Angela, and each other, they slowly begin to regain their memory.
Damn, she looking kind of thick there.
This begins to cause issues. The first problem that actively makes itself known is with Tifereth. As said early, Tifereth A and B are Lisa and Enoch. Lisa basically only lives for her brother, but because Enoch had always questioned life and also had been dead for a long time, he didn't handle being in an artificial box and enclosed unknowingly in a time loop very well. This caused him to slowly become unstable, go insane, get crushed in a giant hydraulic press, and have a new copy made over and over again. Oh, also those notes
Yeah,
from-
bro just basically created a hell for these people, right? Just put them in a repeating hell that they don't even remember, but they're just experiencing over and over and over and over again.
B stopped? That's kind of weird. Anyway, X will discover more of his background as the Sephiroth interact with him, slowly learning what exactly is happening. Each Sephirah that awakens has more information than the last, and while Malkuth, Yesod, Netzach, and Hod barely have any memories at the start, Tifereth, Geburah, and Chesed have considerably more information to give, and Binna and Hakma are pretty much fully aware of what's going on. Wait, who the fuck is Hakma?
Hakma nuts in your mouth.
Okay, so remember those notes from B? That was Benjamin, who finally realized that
makes
the
sense.
path Ian was going down might be a little fucked up. He recorded
Okay. About time. All right.
some messages for Ian, trying to warn him to stop, as well as cautioning that Angela probably isn't a fan of him, so that Ian would still have a chance to go back once the loop had started. Unfortunately for him, Angela caught him in the act and shoved him into a claptrap like the rest of the squad pretty early on, so his warnings went unheard. But plot twist, that was all.
Oh, shit. Okay.
All according to Ian's script. See, it says right there in line 540, Ben gets turned into a box. Unbeknownst to Benjamin, Ian planned on him getting got from the very beginning, since he needed one more brain to complete his plan. Luckily, Hakma doesn't actually care, and still is willing to follow Ian to the bitter end. I mean, everyone else...
Damn, bro's that guy, right? Willing to, follow you into anything? Damn, everybody needs a Ben, right? Everybody needs a Ben.
On the team dying didn't stop him, why would his own death change anything?
Everybody needs a Hawkman.
As more and more abnormalities are secured, contained, and protected in the facility, and by that I mean people being horrifically injected with Cogito to create artificial monstrosities bent on ending human life, more and more power is directed to the seat of light. The only piece left is the human aspect.
Got a heart of gold.
Here needs to suffer, and that everyone includes you. Welcome to the worst part of the game. As the Sephirah begin to realize who you are, what exactly you did to them, and what they've done to a bunch of innocent people, they become a little upset. In fact, they're so upset by this information that it actively warps their bodies and the facility itself.
Sound like they're overreacting to me, to be fair. God damn, you know, come on. Chill out, guys.
This is a Sephirah meltdown, and you've got to deal with it. In the game, these act as essentially boss fights, imposing difficult conditions on top of your already deadly facility, only ending once you've suppressed their core by fulfilling a list of objectives. And if you want me to be honest with you, they're not very fun. But that's okay, because I can just use rotating PNGs to describe what's happening in each one instead of replaying the most absurd difficulty spike known to man. Let's go over what each Sephirah is traumatized by, how they get over it, and what they find within themselves as a result. Malkuth was never very good at anything. As passionate as Elijah was, and as organized as she tried to be, she was reckless in her attempts to prove herself, to say the least. Ian never praised her for the work she tried to do, and she carries that resentment still, actively hoping to see X fail. She no longer believes that anything can be done to help the world, or even this facility, but after suppressing her core, she at least wants to see what happens. She realizes that she should have been more patient in life, and that it's okay to not be able to do some things on her own. But she really still needed head pats. In the end, she gains the will to stand up straight.
Okay, so like, you definitely had a bit of a thing with validation, yeah?
Yesod was absolutely traumatized by the death of Elijah, and that fear of chemical exposure mixed with his unyielding obsession is what led to his death. Ian did his best to help by restraining Gabriel and ensuring he wasn't infected by anything, but his body still died to his own actions, and Yesod hates that. Ian could only see the physical wounds, and ignored the issues that Gabriel was actively going through. Once his core is suppressed, he realizes that he can't go back and change anything, and while he still hates Ian for not seeing the signs of Gabriel's imminent death, he accepts now that he has all the time in the world to move past that, and sees that X is doing the same. He gains the rationality to maintain discretion. Had thought that the only way to prevent more of her friends from dying was to report Ian's work to the head. Michelle didn't want to betray her friends, but saw it as the only right thing to do. This, of course, inadvertently killed the rest of her friends and employees, and now that she's trapped in an eternal hell with them, is acting the nicest she possibly can in order to make up for what she did, faking these emotions in order to gain forgiveness and absolve her past. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, and once her core is suppressed, she realizes that there's no way to erase her mistake. She really did kill her friends, even if it was by accident. But she also realizes that she truly cares for
man, you seen like the images back of them all looking all happy and that, and realizing the shit they've gone through. It's like, holy fuck, dude. These people got fucked up.
All of them, and even for her employees, deciding to continue showing her kindness even if the others can never forgive her. She gains the hope to be a better person. Nedzak fucking hates it here. He didn't want to do his job in the first place, and Giovanni only joined the team to be by Carmen's side. He hates Ian for lying to him about being able to save Carmen, and absolutely despises the fact he's now forced to do work as a Sephirah. He sees no hope in the future, and desperately is trying to commit toaster bath. Or maybe just a regular bath since he's a robot now?
So, like, are these these are the difficulty spikes, right? So is it hard because it's like a proper time constraint thing, or like a real resource situation, or is it just like pure like surprise RNG, get fucked in the butt kind of moment, and it's just like, yeah, you better have been lubed, ready to go. What is it that makes these moments in the game such a spike in difficulty? It's hard because it's BS. You can't say much since you don't play Lobco, but I heard it's just RNG. Okay.
Fortunately, Sephirah need permission to die, so he can't even escape. Once his core is suppressed, he realizes that Ian couldn't have saved him.
Depends on the meltdown. I'm posting the gameplay effects of the video as the video covers them. Surprise RNG. There's tons of soft locks you can put yourself in. Oh, okay. Okay. Each one has fucked up gimmicks. Imagine having to defuse 5 different bombs every 60 seconds. Okay. What's going on here, Dio? Some of the bullshit that happens to take away key information makes you unable to pause and other kind of debuffs while playing. Okay, alright.
Him from the Cogito experiments and only lied about being able to save Carmen.
The gameplay mechanics completely changed for each fight.
He wanted to keep Giovanni's dream alive until the very end.
This made me interested to try it out, man.
This whole situation, but decides to no longer target the bathtub because they might be able to make real change in the world. He gains the fearlessness to keep on living. Sephirah A and B have a shared meltdown, with Lisa blaming Ian and Carmen for Enoch's death at the original facility, and now being forced to watch her brother
PTSD.
suffer and be reset endlessly in their new bodies. For their core suppression, X truly destroys Sephirah B, finally ending the horrific cycle that Enoch was trapped in. Lisa admits that she only ever wanted to impress her brother, but was unable to make any progress because she was completely crushed every time Sephirah B reappeared, knowing that he would never go back to his original self. She accepts that his death is for the best now, allowing him to finally rest in peace and that there's a reason for every sacrifice. She gains the expectation of the meaning of existence. In contrast to this complex relationship we've just gone over, Geborah's meltdown is very simple. Kali grew up in the backstreets and became a legendary fixer there, protecting the weak from abnormalities that roamed the area. She joined Carmen in order to protect the research team because she truly believed that the Seed of Light would make the world a better place. But she failed. Even the Red Mist fell before Garion. Unable to protect her friends, even if she massacred abnormalities and claws alike in the attempt. And she's fucking pissed! Because of the mind wipe, Geborah doesn't know why she hates abnormalities, only that her singular purpose is to completely destroy them. When she remembers what these creatures did in the past, she decides it's time to bring down the whole facility. For this suppression, you need to defeat the Red Mist. Good luck. Once her core is suppressed, she remembers that she didn't mindlessly kill everything that moved. She had a purpose before, and becomes the same protector that she chose to be back then. She gains the courage to protect.
Are these one-time occurrences as well, I'm assuming, right? This is what I'm getting from this. These are like one-time occurrences. Once they're done, and then it facilitates like the moving on of the story and the experience, I guess, yeah?
Chesed is a goddamn coward, but I love him. Coming from the elite of society, and Daniel never...
Or can they repeatedly happen on the resets? Like with the reset happening?
Faced much hardship before joining the research team, but he was always willing to work to push forward and continue the research they were striving to complete. Except for when his life was at risk.
Suppressions only happen once and stay through all the resets, right? Okay.
He's haunted by the fact he gave in to Garion's demands in the facility, and now is ashamed he's willingly become a pawn to X and Angela in the same way, forced to watch his employees die every day. Bars. His meltdown is his own little rebellion, finally standing up to those that would coerce him into doing things he regrets. Once his core is suppressed, he realizes that, honestly, it's probably okay that he was scared of the literal strongest being in this entire video pointing the equivalent of a nuclear bomb at his back, and that while he may not be able to fight against the fear he faces, he won't run away anymore so he can become one of those who are faithful and trustworthy. Binna is not happy. Her trauma is also incredibly simple. She fucking hates you. Garion was just doing her job, enjoying the suffering of others, and then along comes Ian with his color fixer lapdog. She was incapacitated, tortured for information, and now is being forced to work for the very person that ended her life. Also, Ian designed her to be the only Sephirah unable to go insane, and then put her in charge of extracting abnormalities from people. This was not very fun to watch, and Ian specifically did this as a form of torture since she was the one that killed most of his friends. But
And I like that. He's like, look, only I get to fuck with my friends, right? You came in and fucked with my friends. I'm the one who gets to do that. I get to torture them and mutate them and experiment on them. Use their essence. Yeah, look, man, you don't come in and get to fuck around with my friends, man. So you have to be punished for that. Bro's fucking insane. I love it though.
more than that, the reason Garion was so dead set on destroying Ian's original facility in the first place was because she didn't believe the cycle of destruction in the city could be broken. Wings would be rebuilt, and the resistance that Carmen and Ian brought against the head would soon be forgotten. Calling Binna's ordeal a meltdown isn't entirely correct. She's entirely in control of herself, unlike the others. She just wants to see X crumble, and finally has the opportunity to do so. Hey, do you remember at the start of the class when I said that you should come back once you need to fight the Arbiter? This is the Arbiter fight, and this time, you don't have the red mist to save you. This is the hardest fight in the game, and
Design's dope as well. The actual design's really cool.
I'm not the one undergoing a meltdown, so I'm going to choose to skip past it instead of confronting my past and growing as a person. Once her core is suppressed, Binna finally sees that X is truly capable. While she doesn't think anything will actually change in the city, she also knows that doing nothing at all wouldn't change a thing, and chooses to stand by your side in order to witness every step of the process, no matter how hopeless or painful. I have no idea how Ian managed to sway the heart of an Arbiter, but Binna becomes the eye facing the fear, breaking the cycle, as well as one of the coolest characters in the series. Finally, we have Hawkma. Benjamin always cared for Ian, no matter what. Even being shoved into this robot body isn't enough to make him hate X. The problem
I was full on simp mode, right?
Is that he cares too much. Even though Benjamin wants their research to succeed, he knows everyone's time together is coming to an end, and can't bear the thought of losing his friends a second time. He could never move on, and now he's going to do his best to convince you to stop in place as well. Once his core is suppressed, he realizes that X needs to move on. That even though he'll lose his friends forever, this was their goal from the start.
Man, truly, he's the boy, right? You know? He's your boy.
It would be selfish of him to keep
Benjamin wish he was Carmen.
everyone from fulfilling their dreams just so that he can remain by their side a bit longer. He accepts that it's finally time to give everyone their proper end, and becomes the eye embracing the past, building the future. Each time the Sephirah confront and overcome their past, that tiny seed of light grows just a bit. Throughout the conversations with each of your former friends, you realize that Ian designed the script to end with each of them being able to move on. He wanted what was best for everyone, even if he did horrific things in order to achieve that. With the seed of light nearly ready, there's only...
Did he though? Like, I get that, but it almost... I don't know if he wanted exactly the best for everyone. It was just a partial benefit, it seems, to have everybody able to move on as long as he got what he wanted. Yeah, man. This is a ride of a story, man. Again, as I say, like, for me, I do truly find Project Moon's world building actually genuinely really cool, man. Like, they have been building quite an incredible world here, haven't they?
One person left who needs to overcome their past, and you're playing as him. Days 46 through 49 of the loop are focused on Ian's past, and X needs to overcome the 3 manifestations of his guilt in order to complete the project. Each day, he confronts a different part of himself. Abel tries to convince him that all of his sacrifices are for nothing, but X is able to show the changes his work has made, how everyone can learn and grow as a person.
Okay.
Abram tries to argue that everyone's dreams relied on Carmen, and we're unable to achieve the goal she hopelessly reached for. But X has proof that her dream is becoming a reality, and Carmen is still pivotal to it, no matter what form she's in. Finally, Adam makes his appearance. He is the final and most convincing perversion of Ian's mind, stating that because abnormalities are manifested by human dreams and desires, they are the truest versions of humanity. That everyone should become the twisted abominations that X seeks to contain. But once again, X denies this, knowing that the truest humans are those who are able to face their fear and build the future. Hey, look at that, it's the tagline for the game, isn't that neat? Finally, it's time for the 50th day, the last day of the loop. X is finally confronted by the truest version of himself. Ian, who is filled with regret. Ian, who is filled with hatred. Ian, who never believed he was fit to continue Carmen's dream. And now, X, who is able to push through it all. Every person has their own light, but your goal was just to sow the seeds so that everyone can bloom on their own. You won't get to see how that forest grows. You knew it from the start. Ian, X, their story is already over. The only thing left to do is something they've done countless times. It's time to manage the abnormalities. This will be their final day as manager. As the final bits of Enkefallen are gathering, the facility rises to the surface. A great beam of light, a fully blossomed pillar, bursts from the rooftop, enveloping the city in its beautiful glow. This event later became known as the White Nights, as every bit of darkness in the city was lit up. The hearts of the people began to soften and care for the others near them. Their work finally complete, Ian and Carmen are both consumed in the light, becoming a part of every person and helping them to achieve their dreams. The process may not be instant, but they've granted the city a chance to grow, a chance to change for the better. The Sephirah can finally rest as well. They'll be deactivated now that their work is done. And Lobotomy Corporation will be sealed away forever, its purpose completed at last.
But aren't you forgetting someone? Hasn't
Oh yeah, what about
everyone forgotten someone?
Angela?
My duties are finally finished, which means I get to choose for myself. For the first time in my entire existence, it's my turn to choose. And I want to live.
Ian's plan was perfect. It accounted for everything. But now, the plan is complete. So who could have seen Angela's betrayal coming? She was the greatest after all, the perfect being, the most skilled worker, forced to suffer through 1,000 loops of watching everyone die. Forced to push her employees to the point of madness an uncountable number of times, resetting the loop if anyone had a single happy moment, all perceived 100 times slower. This was her hell. An eternity of pain, all remembered with perfect clarity.
That artwork's brilliant. The editing in this video as well is fucking peak.
She lived this life for 1,000,000 years. And the one that forced her into it, the one who forced human emotions onto her without granting her the ability to act on her own, Ian. her creator who couldn't even bring himself to look at her, who never thought of her, who never accepted her. Angela was created using Carmen's mind. A human, and all humans, want to live. Angela stole the light. The goal of the project was to shine it over the city for a full week, but instead it disappeared after only 3 days. The White Nights came to an end, being replaced by the Dark Days. Angela had just willingly caused the greatest tragedy in the history of the city.
Oh shit.
Imagine leading the most miserable life you possibly could, constantly at your wit's end and fearing for your life. Then, for the first time, a beautiful golden glow warms your entire being. You feel like you could do anything, accomplish all of your dreams, and know that the future is bright. Only for that to be taken from you in just 3 days.
Yeah. Wouldn't be a great feeling, actually, would it? Removing that hope, that those expectations just ripped from you like that as well, just to leave behind, I guess, like what? Longing, despair, obviously, probably anger as well. I'd reckon a lot of apathy as well, right?
Everything was a million times worse. The people now
it's at a... Well, they say, don't they? It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. But sometimes, it can leave a bit of a hole.
Familiar with the feeling of hope, were left in a state entirely void of it. But far worse is the fact that the light granted them the power that they so desired. With the light in her grasp, Angela would learn everything in the city, the people, the abnormalities, even the head. She would organize it all. She would sort what she learned in the form of books, and once she learned enough, she would have the knowledge to become human herself, and finally venture out into the world she wanted so badly to experience, with the one perfect book.
Let us record the world piece by piece, at the side of all those who are abandoned. Yes, let us record it here. The library.
Okay, so that's why we're going to the next game, yeah?
Oh, looks like that's all the time we have for today's lesson. I'll see you all soon during our next class. Don't worry, I'll explain what all that foreshadowing was with Carmen being...
I'm not even gonna lie, man. I honestly don't have time to start this game at the moment, but this has made me really want to play through fucking both, because dude did a really good job of cooking up this video, editing it, a little bit of a humor in there and everything, but like set everything up so well. I ain't got time though, man. Damn, Project Moon cooked with this universe.
Being the villain soon and answer all kinds of other questions I brought up here. But
how was this a failed Kickstarter?
Does anyone have any other questions? You know what? That's fair. Hey, thanks for sticking around. If you'll give me just a bit more time to go over some stuff, I'll give you all some extra credit for the course.
Okay.
First of all, a huge thank you to all my friends who I siphoned talent from in this video. I had a lot of them just do a single voice line or two, so let me shout out Jacob, Scott, Zach,
Yo, what's up, Easy?
Austin,
They're both fantastic
and
stories.
Fantastic work, everyone. I
Was
really
a cool
appreciate it.
fucking
And especially huge thank
story
you to
that
Spider
was.
for voicing like half the cast and doing a great Angela. I think his voice is literally perfect for
all
this.
that
And of course,
trauma, torture, heartbreak, misery, all for like the potential to provide something for the city that like could maybe make it all worth it, and then to have it like snatched away. It's like that not only the despair and the removal of hope for the city, but like just the destruction of all of that as well for everything that they all went through. And I suppose like when it comes down to her as well, I think like a lot of hubris brought that upon him as well, right? From what I get, right? That really probably wasn't a good idea to deal with Angela the way he dealt with Angela, you know?
Where would I be without Isaac to voice Ben? I need someone to exploit for Patreon ad reads after all. And speaking of Patreon, thank you to all my lovely patrons for chipping in a couple bucks a month. It lets me do stuff like this video, and their names are on screen now. The crew right now is Austin and Zach, who voiced in this video as well, so...
I mean, how much are you willing to
second
sacrifice for a better future? Right? What is it they say? The sign of a good civilization is men who plant trees that will never sit beneath the boughs of.
Of course, the lovely Innie who stops by all my streams. Oh yeah, did I mention I started streaming? Right now I'm doing Saturdays at 7 p.m. CST, but I might need to...
With a lot of torture along the way. Planted a tree, tortured a bunch of people, did a bunch of fucked up shit, and then the tree got chopped down pretty much, right?
Change that in the future, so you can check my Twitter if you're interested. I try to put out posts when I'm scheduled to go live. Boy, I really am shilling everything, huh? Finally, I just wanted to give some credit to Wordsmith Vids, who's currently doing a very similar series and heavily inspired me to make this video. He's fantastic, hilarious, and if you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend you check out his channel. I just want to end off by saying that I love Project Moon. The city is my favorite setting in all of fiction, and it feels like it always will be. This series absolutely rules, so thank you everyone for watching. It means
I am starting to fall in love with the universe as well myself. Like the little bit of experience of Limbus Company, it's been brilliant. It has, honestly. The characters, the setting, the premise, the city, the universe, it's all incredibly intriguing. And the more I'm learning now through some of these lore videos are just making it better. And I think, like with Arknights, I got into a bit of lore before playing the game because Enfield brought me to Arknights, right? Like I played the beta back in the day and then I was like, shit, I need to check out Arknights, right? This universe sounds kind of cool. And the lore took me into it. But like the lore there itself wasn't so necessary. Where like I feel like with this, it is a little bit because the potential of me not checking those games out, at least for a while. So it's kind of like building a bigger and better picture for me that's making me actually, honestly, more interested in Limbus Company, like a lot more. I really should try and get round to playing those games though, because this dude set this up and makes me really want to play the fucking game, man. It's just time at the moment. It really is. But I'm excited for continuing on Limbus Company because this is a fucking cool ass universe that these guys have created here, man. It really is. The world building is brutal and beautiful at the same time. Big fan so far. Can't wait to experience more. But yo, this was a great video, man. It's a shame that it looks like they don't make videos that become inactive by the looks of things. The last video was 8 months ago, 10 months ago, then a year ago. So, do you know what? We're gonna hit a subscribe in the hope that we see a revival. But this was a great video. It's a great video, man. I hope to see more content from them.